Why is Kody combing his hair? Isn't he old enough to do this?
I think that they were trying to. So part of it was obviously Solomon does his own hair in the morning. They needed content to film watching the kids get ready for school.
They gotta do something.
So they got to do something. So that's why Robyn had to wake up Ariella. That's why they had to like push her off to school. But it could have also been something special because it looked like on Ariella's sign it was their first day of third grade. So maybe it was also just trying to be cutesy. It's your first day back to school. Let's do something fun. I'll help you with your hair. It could have been that as well. But it was they needed to film something.
Hey besties, welcome back to my channel. Kody Brown and Robyn Brown's first day of school, where they were pretending like they're this happy family and filming with TLC, it was all fake. Literally every last bit of it. Fake, 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 and fake. Yeah. So McKelty and Tony were watching the first episode of the season, and McKelty was explaining that a lot of the scenes that we see on the show are completely contrived by TLC for content for an episode. Meaning, Kody doesn't normally, on a daily basis, get his children ready for school, which is probably why he looked so like a fish out of water, not knowing how to make waffles in a toaster oven, pretending like he needed to have his glasses on to do that, calling his son's school, calling his son's school supplies, his school equipment, and then making a comment to his son about not having a phone near his body and brushing Solomon's hair. All of it was fake. And it was also fake that Robyn had to go wake up Ariella, and Ariella's response was not because she didn't want to get up, it was because a camera was in her face when she was waking up. Can you imagine being a child and you're waking up to go to school and there's a camera in your face? What in the hell is wrong with these people? So, when Kody and Robyn were talking about the phone in the body, apparently, according to Tony and McKelty, Kody and Robyn hold some questionable beliefs when it comes to health. In Christine's book, she spoke about how Kody had ended up in the conspiracy world of the manosphere online. And in the past several years, he became very conspiratorial and started believing things that just were not true. And he wanted her to believe in these, whatever it was that he was watching online. And she refused to engage in that. And she said one of those areas of conspiratorial issues had to do with health, and Kody and Robyn's complete lack of adherence to protocols that TLC put in place for the safety of the crew. So, in the film industry, in order to keep crew members safe, a lot of film sets required individuals to have proof that they were vaccinated. Okay. Kody and Robyn refused to get vaccinated, even though TLC wanted it. And then Kody and Robyn used the fact that everyone got vaccinated as another reason to not see anyone. So, according to Christine's book and what Christine has said publicly, during the period of COVID, after everyone got their vaccines, Kody and Robyn then accused everyone of trying to infect them with the virus by exposing them to the virus because they got the vaccine, which is not how the virus actually spreads. And the vaccine did help reduce the overall incidences and occurrences, and it saved a lot of people's lives in the early phases of COVID. And the reason why she brought that up is to point to the fact that on the show, they pretend like they really cared about what the CDC was saying. They pretended like, they were adhering to the rules of their doctors, but the truth was they weren't. They were getting their information from these online sources that were actually not true. And then they were spreading that misinformation through the family. And then as family members got vaccinated, the vaccinated family members became the bad people. Like you're doing what TLC wanted and you're going to get us sick. They just kept making excuses. And for Christine's point, she doesn't even think it was really about the vaccine. It was more just another reason for them to stay away. It was just another excuse. So Kody and Robyn, according to Christine, do not have like solid beliefs about, using medications for mental health. They're like really against going to the doctor for the most part and just really not into modern medicine at all. And because Kody and Robyn are down in these conspiracy rabbit holes all the time, I guess he got into QAnon like really bad. And which makes sense because he was all where we go one, we go all. And if you don't know anything about QAnon and you're not aware of what a farce the whole situation was and about who the person was behind it, there's actually a documentary that I would encourage you to watch. It's called Q Into the Storm. And it's a series by the filmmaker Cullen Hobax, who goes on a mission to figure out who Q is and where this origin comes from. He goes to the creators of the website where Q was dropping all of his drops. He gets close to the people that own it, the father and the son. He has a relation. He interviews the guy that originally created 8chan. And throughout the series, you learn that a lot of this was just super fake and it was designed by the son of the guy that owned it. His name was Ron. And Ron didn't have any connections to anything about anyone. He literally was just using it as a way to gain traction to his website to get people to go on it. But then as people started believing it, they got like off on the power of it all. And then they were just like spreading lies for the sake of spreading lies. So Into the Storm goes into what these kind of conspiracy theories were. And part of what QAnon was doing was around that same time when COVID hit, it was the guy, Ron from Q, the guy that was Q, started spreading false information about COVID and about the vaccines off nothing just because he thought it. And then he got other people to spread it for him. And then it got picked up by the government and it was just like everywhere. So Kody ended up deep in that field, in that world, according to Christine's book. So anyway, Kody and Robyn held these positions on the show where they pretended like they cared, but they don't. And so apparently McKelty says that now Robyn still believes, without information or facts, that phones cause testicular cancer and they increase or decrease sperm count in men. There are very limited studies that even show this, and it's really not based in fact, but there's no proven link between phones and cell phone radiation because cell phones have not shown an increased risk of testicular cancer because it doesn't use ionizing radiation. Phones emit non-ionizing radiation. So it doesn't damage DNA in a way that could trigger cancer. Carrying a phone in the front pocket can temporarily raise scrotal temperatures, which could maybe affect the quality of sperm in some men, but that's still also not confirmed. The issue is that there's just not enough studies. And the studies that they do have, they can't pinpoint to that this is the reason why. And no major medical organizations have issued any statements about having cell phones in your pocket and that this would cause infertility in a male. And the American Urological Association male infertility guidelines do not list cell phone exposure or radio frequency electromagnetic fields as standard risk factors warranting routine evaluation. The World Health Organization is going through and reviewing reviews into health effects, including male fertility, but as of now, it's not made any conclusive public determination on it. So there's been studies, but the problem with the studies, they've been self-reported and they have limited ability to detect small effects. There's issues with use frequency. So the studies that have been done are really minimal and they don't have enough conclusive evidence. But Robyn and Kody apparently believe it as fact, so they don't allow him or they don't want him to hold it in their pocket. That's where that comes from. So anyway, Kody and Robyn have some interesting views on the world, and Kody and Robyn are big into conspiracies. And I thought it was just really funny in Christine's book when she was talking about how Kody and Robyn acted like everyone but them was doing what they were supposed to be doing and made it like everyone was so dangerous. Then you come to find out the reason why they're calling everyone dangerous is not because of exposure, but because they're vaccinated. Anyway, McKelty also noted that Kody would never do this kind of stuff normally. He is not a dad that gets kids ready for school. That's just not what he does. He might, drive them to school, but this was all for the show. And another thing from the same episode that I thought was interesting was that McKelty was watching the part of the episode where Christine and David and Truly and Aspen and Mitch were in North Carolina. And there was the race, and then, Maddie crying, that whole scene. And she made this comment after Janelle said something about David that was kind of passive aggressive. She said, it's funny because I feel like David would be friends with Janelle would be friends with David because they're similar, they would get along really well. And she said that Janelle and her mom would never be friends.
I think David and Janelle could be friends. My mom and Janelle, I don't know. Their personalities are so opposite. So opposite. Janelle's a thinker and a pragmatist, and mom's a dreamer.
So she clarified that a little bit later on and essentially said that, like, had they met and they weren't actually sharing a husband and they didn't have kids in common, they wouldn't be friends because they're very different people. They have very different interests. And Christine is very like flighty and imaginative, and she's a dreamer, and she's very boisterous, and Janelle is like more reserved. But she said that David is the kind of guy that literally can be anyone's best friend. He is super nice to everyone and he can be engaging with everyone. She didn't really agree that David is like arrogant or like has an ego. She said that he's like just a very boisterous person that just takes interest in people and everyone wants to be around him. And so she said that if Janelle were to meet them now, she probably wouldn't be friends with Christine and she might be friends with David because Christine and Janelle are too different. And she also said that while Janelle and Christine care about each other, she wouldn't necessarily like call them friends just because of their history. It's more like they get along because of the kids, but their personalities are very different. And so there's still issues between them because of that. But they do support one another in their like lives, and they try to show up for each other when they can. But a lot of this continued filming really is just for the show. I was not surprised, I guess, about that take. It was kind of my assumption about their relationship. And I felt like the further they got away from each other, like when they started living in different places, there might be a like a divide between them. I've kind of noticed a little bit over the seasons that Janelle just really gets annoyed with Christine when Christine gives her any level of encouragement, or if Christine, expresses any concern for her. Like it really bothers Janelle in her pride or something if Christine assumes that she needs help, or if she's, Christine was very concerned that Kody was manipulating Janelle and using Janelle. And I still believe that to a degree, Christine still is concerned about that aspect with Janelle. She loves Janelle, but I think Christine is more out of the mindset than Janelle is. Janelle says she doesn't believe in polygamy anymore. And she even said that if you made polygamy legal, it would probably make men want to not be in it, further cementing that men only do this so they can manipulate women and take their money. It was such a weird add to the episode because she's like, actually, if you really want to make polygamy illegal, make it legal. Because if a man had to split his assets with 4 other women, he never would. He would never do it. So indirectly, she is saying the only reason men do this is because they don't have to share their assets, property, or resources with women, and they're just using the women. That's kind of how you kind of know, in my mind, that Janelle's brain is still a little bit scrambled by the cult thinking. So it has often made me sad that the women in their own personalities are not really valued for who they are, because I think there's this idea that they're not allowed to feel, and that being having a friend concerned about you would be like a sign of weakness that you're really not allowed to show in that cult. Like you're not allowed to speak badly about the priesthood. You're not allowed to express your feelings. You're supposed to claim your independence and being independent. But I think if Janelle was as independent as she says she was, she wouldn't have been involved in that relationship for as long as she was. And I think her idea of independence is a little bit skewed based upon the brainwashing of that cult. So, and I don't think that Christine comes from a bad place when she wants to encourage people. I don't think it's bad that Christine wants to encourage Mary. I don't think it's bad that she wants to encourage Janelle. I think Christine is similar to me, where it's like, I just want people to be happy. I want people to be taken care of. I don't want anyone to be used or abused. And Christine is walking a really delicate line with these people because she's more outside of the thinking. She's gone to therapy. She's now in a new marriage. She is so far removed from the cult programming now that when she's engaging with Janelle or with Mary or with Kody and Robyn, they're still in the cult mindset, even though they're not in the cult. And it takes a long time for that programming to leave. So I was wondering what your thoughts were about the Kody and Robyn's fake scenes exposed and their wild beliefs about COVID and the medical stuff with the phone. And again, if you hold beliefs that are different than mine on vaccines, I'm not here to have a vaccine fight. If you have different feelings about phones, I'm not here to have a fight about phones. I'm literally just sharing with you information that was shared in the book about how Kody and Robyn really were making life hell for people when all they were doing was following the rules of TLC. So what are your thoughts? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed and click the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, besties.